5 years ago, and all I was doing was like calling people up, putting it on speakerphone, and just like recording it through the computer.
Mhm.
So come a
And
long
what are
way.
you using to live stream, connect the Zoom to YouTube? Is it just they have an interface together, API?
Yeah, they have a link now. They I don't know what they do, but you can basically connect it either through YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all that stuff. But there's even better platforms out there that I'm looking to get on. Like there's a company called StreamYard, and they can add like cool frames, all that stuff.
Yep, I'm familiar with StreamYard. That's what we've been using.
Yeah, so that's the goal. I just want to get the frame set up. I don't know how to design the frames.
You can't really do a lot. Well, from my understanding, you might not be able to do a lot in Zoom, but you can get some foregrounds, backgrounds, and lower thirds pre-designed and uploaded into Zoom. Now, how functional and how like interactive they could be during the show or episode, like pop-up and stuff like that, StreamYard is a little bit more user-friendly from that perspective.
Dope. So we're gonna kick this off real quick. I know we got a lot to learn from you, so I'm looking forward to the conversation. And we're gonna hit them with the intro. This is the Millionaire Talk Show. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Todd Millionaire. Thank you guys all for tuning in. The purpose of this podcast is to share the stories of successful African-American business owners and investors. We want people to hear the stories of successful examples because they do exist. And we also want people to learn that business and investing are the true keys to financial success and generational wealth. With us today with the brother Dion Pouncil. He is a hedge fund manager. He is on a mission to help 75 million or more people improve their lives through financial education and trading, and he's currently helped 5,153 people. He also has launched a digital course where he's continuing to promote this message and this vision. So I know you guys are in for a treat. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and where you're from?
Yeah, so my name is Dion Pouncil. I am the principal and chief investment officer for Pouncil Capital. Pouncil Capital is a systematic hedge fund, global macro, multi-asset, multi-strategy. So essentially what that means is we use computer programs and algorithms to trade in the capital markets for us, and that we are pretty much industry and asset agnostic. And we could trade, everything from stocks, bonds, futures, Forex, crypto, and things of that nature. So I am originally from the south side of Chicago, literally from Inglewood. Went to school in New York, and I've lived all over the country for various parts of my life and different reasons. So I am located right here in Miami, Florida now, and that's where we are.
Do you think that being on the East Coast and trading is a lot easier than being on the West Coast?
You know what? It depends on your lifestyle and what type of trader you are, because yes, you are on the East Coast, you're aligned with all of the New York exchanges and timeframes. But one of the things I did like about trading when I lived in LA is because I pretty much trade the morning session from about 7 a.m. and I'm pretty much done by like 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And so basically that's essentially, 4 to 7:30 a.m. in Cali, and you done, you made all your money, and you got the rest of the day to do, whatever it is that you want. So that is one, positive. But again, it goes to the type of trader you are, what assets you trade, what time frame you trade, and all of that, because trading and investing is personal. But for me, especially when I was human trading, I really only traded the New York session. And so now that we have, our algo's been running over a year now, human Dion hasn't traded in over a year, but our algos trade 24 hours a day.
So you're trading an algorithm, because a lot of times my thought process is like, man, what if the computer system makes mistakes? What if it's not doing it right? How does that work? Are you tweaking the process, or you're finding the process?
You're always looking to optimize. You have some fail safes in place. We also, really focus on risk-adjusted performance metrics. And so what that means is literally using statistics, using math, and using quantitative approaches to make sure that we're eliminating human discretion, we're eliminating emotions, we're eliminating, the simple mistakes and failures that humans could do. algorithms and computer programs are not perfect. They just so happen to be better than humans, right? If you think about an analogy, right now we're moving toward autonomous vehicles, right? And so some of the feedback or pushback on autonomous vehicles is that they're robots and they can fail. Well, they don't need to be perfect. They just need to be better than humans, right? So if that's the case, then you optimize and make it better. It actually becomes better for people overall. So it's the same thing with algorithm or computer program, because at the end of the day, algorithm is literally just a step-by-step process. And then you could choose to automate that process through computer technology. You getting up every day and walking to the restroom and brushing your teeth in the same way every single day, technically is an algorithm.
Right.
You just haven't automated that process with machinery. Does that make sense?
Right, right. So how did you get to this point? What did the early days of your career look like?
Yeah, it's very interesting, man. I don't come from a traditional finance background. I actually went to school on a baseball scholarship. I did study business management, but I was really there to go pro. I had turned down the offer to go pro out of high school and went to college. But I did go to college in Long Island, New York. I went to Hofstra University, and a lot of my counterparts did leave Hofstra and go to Wall Street. So it was very finance centered school. So I was always in and around it. After I left college, played a little baseball, indie professional baseball, and then transitioned into the professional world and worked my way up. I literally went from outside B2B sales to marketing to running my own agency. And that was one of the most pivotal points, because when I ran the agency, it really introduced me to data and to technology to a level that was pretty much beyond the average. And from there, I pivoted and went straight into the technology world, moved to LA, lived in between LA and Palo Alto and Silicon Valley, and really immersed myself in the tech world for years. Everything from starting startups to consulting to advising to raising money. That led me to working at a venture capital firm, which got me into the official side of finance or the investing side of finance. That firm had investing and trading. And because I always had a love for math and physics, I migrated towards the trading house and really just started to study every book, every course that I could get my hands on. And after a while, start practicing and implementing it, develop some success, and the rest is history. And so that's why I'm very passionate about my motto is learn, earn, and return. I want to be a forever student. I want to learn as much as I can. I want to monetize and earn money off the knowledge that I've acquired. And then I want to help other people get that game by returning it. And so that's why we created Money School, to really be able to help everyday people, take control of their financial futures through financial education, trading, and investing literacy.
Yeah. One of the things that I like, before I ask you about the Money School, one of the things that I like is, well, I'm kind of curious about, is I remember seeing this quote by Jeff Bezos, and they were asking him about Amazon, and he broke down all the data in terms of Amazon and the growth of the internet and why he wanted to build an internet company. Mm-hmm. How important is data in terms of making decisions and building a business?
It's paramount. So first and foremost, last year, officially, data became more valuable than oil, became the number one asset on the planet. From a quantitative standpoint, they were able to put a metric on it. Now, for me, it's been the number one. You can't do anything without data information. That's literally how your brain processes and helps you survive and keep you alive, just by seeing and analyzing everything and help you make decisions. From a business standpoint, you always want to make data-driven decisions because the numbers are telling you the truth of what's going on in your business, whether you are succeeding or whether you're failing, whether the market likes you or whether the market likes your product or they don't, right? Those are all data metrics that can be quantified and help you make those decisions. And again, eliminating the emotions. Yes, you could feel like you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, but if the numbers in the market doesn't support that, you might want to make some adjustments. Another insight based off of your question, Jeff Bezos was literally a hedge fund manager. He left one of the top performing hedge funds to start Amazon. So he was a Wall Street trader, a Wall Street hedge fund manager, and left Wall Street to start Amazon, and people thought he was crazy. And so, a lot of a lot of successful investors or technologists actually had their starts in the hedge fund world. So like Peter Thiel, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Peter Thiel, but Peter Thiel was the first investor into Facebook. He was also co-founder of PayPal. He's the founder of Founders Fund, which is a large VC firm. He's also the founder of the #1 cybersecurity firm in the world right now, Palantir, that's worth billions and billions of dollars. And he was a hedge fund manager. Kathy Wood, one of the top investors before she started, ARK Investments, she was a hedge fund manager. So it allows you having that mindset of getting instant feedback on whether you're right or wrong, because the market is going to tell you immediately, because you're going to either make money or you're going to lose money. It's very binary, right? And so if you are able to make data-driven decisions, it has a very, very good and high probability positive impact on you and your business.
So you talked about Money School. What can people learn in that program?
Yeah, so Money School is literally a streaming app that's available on your iPhone, your Android, Apple TV, Roku, your favorite smart TVs, LG, Samsung, etc. And so it is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And essentially what it is it is a Netflix meets CNBC meets a trading school. So you can literally get edutainment. There are everything from courses, how to explainer videos, financial dictionaries. There are podcasts, documentaries, and it will be a live TV financial news network as well. So very excited about that. And I'm sure that by the time your viewers see this, they can just visit moneyschool.com and subscribe. And the beautiful thing about it is, I have thousands and thousands of students already, but one of the things I'm more excited about with Money School is it's literally $19.99 a month.
Wow.
So most of my other courses were thousands of dollars. Like I have a $2,000 course, a $5,000 course, I have a $50,000 course. But what I wanted to do with Money School is I wanted to really democratize the access to information and to capital. And I wanted to create it in a platform or in a way that literally everybody could afford it. And everybody, whether you don't know anything about money, trading or investing, you could start at a novice and you could depart from that and arrive with tools to design the lifestyle that you want to live.
Yeah. So in your career, hedge fund owner, course creator, what does your morning routine look like?
Yeah, so it's slightly different now because we're full quant, but I'll give you both examples when I was trading as a human and when we have, algos. So when I just used to trade, literally, I would trade from 7 a.m. to 10:30. I would primarily trade futures. And so I would trade in the bond futures market. The American market opens up at 8:20. So I would get to the desk around 7 a.m., do some scanning, do my homework, look at the markets, and look what we're going to be doing for that session. And then I would trade the equities when the equities opened up around 9:30. And essentially from there, I would pretty much be done trading by about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I would go on about my day. And so that's when I was just trading by myself and trading as a human. As we began to develop algorithms, we still had different time slots in the beginning, but we went again with the data, right? So we began to take my trading strategies and theories and run back test against historical data to see how those algos would perform based off of that data. And then we will allow that to tell our models when to trade, when to have, entry and exits based off of the high probability scenarios that the algo identify based off of the risk adjusted performance metrics that we put into the algo. So one of the key examples is like in the course, I teach our students never to risk more than 5% of your available capital. Okay. So when you're trading and investing, first and foremost, you should only trade and invest disposable income. That means that this money is not your rent, your Pampers, your food money, etc. This is money that you could take out of the ATM and go in the backyard and literally burn it and not be affected. That's disposable income. Once you identify your disposable income, then you shouldn't risk more than 5% of that available income in an individual trade. So what that means is if you only have $1,000 a trade, you shouldn't risk more than $50 in one individual trade. Okay. My algos don't risk more than 1% of available cash balance. So we are more risk adverse. We want to minimize risk as much as possible to maximize returns. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to eliminate risk, but that means that you don't have to take every trade, and that if the algo or the trade opportunity doesn't meet your performance metrics, then it won't take the trade. And so with that, now the algos run, 22 to 24 hours a day, depending on the asset class. So my schedule now is really, now I'm a professional trader. I'm a licensed Series 3 commodity pool operator, commodity trading advisor. So now I'm actually more focused on growing the business of my hedge fund and raising capital while managing the quants to manage the algos and things of that nature. So right now, I'm more working in and on the business versus actually sitting at the desk and trading all the time. I do monitor it, as you see in my background, but primarily, I'm now just growing the business, and the quants and the algos are actually doing the trading for me.
Wow. So, what does that process look like in terms of growing the business? Are you like going to like golf clubs, high-end restaurants?
It's funny, I was literally just at a golf course Thursday. I'm actually supposed to be at a golf course right now, but I canceled because I knew I had this. So it's funny because, yes, you do want to raise capital, or I don't want to say you have to, because I financed everything out of pocket for myself, and we were using my own money. And now that I've decided that I will open it up to outside capital, I'm blessed to be in a position where I can raise money from people I know, like, and trust, and I'm not pressed to raise money from just any and everybody. And I don't need any and everybody's money. And I also believe that money is energy. And so I don't want everybody's energy and money in my fund. So I am blessed to be at a point to say, if I like you, if I know you, if I trust you, we can do business. If not, it is what it is, and we can go our separate ways. So I'm a relationship building person first anyway. And so I'm big on building rapport and getting to know people, because if we're like-minded, it's going to be much easier for us to accomplish our goals because we have similar viewpoints on life, the world, and maybe that potential deal. If we don't, then the deal or the business is not going to work out anyway, because how can two walk together unless they agree, right? So I'm big on agreement, unity, and harmony, and all those things are important to me around business, because those things and relationships are what's going to last. Every business, every trade, every investment is not going to always work out, but having quality people around you in your circle, you develop a teamwork atmosphere, and I believe that teamwork makes the dream work. So I'm in a position now where, I'm out shaking hands, kissing babies, and, politicking it out much more often, just so that I can build relationships organically. But that is, the part of the business that I'm primarily focused on right now is, driving awareness to what I'm doing, creating informal, data-driven, educational content, and then meeting with people who are potential good fits to invest in the fund. And so to give you an idea, like the hedge fund industry, there are over 7,000 hedge funds on the planet, okay? $73 trillion were invested into the hedge fund asset class last year, all right? That's great. Now, while it's also interesting, it's because less than 1% of that capital went to minority-owned hedge fund managers.
Jeez.
Okay, 73 trillion, less than 1%. Okay, so when you talk about Wall Street, you talk about hedge funds. The first number to be considered a real player is $100 million AUM, or assets under management, and the next number is $1 billion, right? So when I talked about the 7,000 hedge funds on the planet, there are less than 100 hedge fund managers, minority hedge fund managers, with over $100 million AUM, and there's less than 10 with over $1 billion. So literally every dollar we accumulate, we're making history. And I want to be able to share that journey and that mission with people while also informing them and encouraging them that if I could do it, so can you.
Right, right. That's interesting. One of the things that you said earlier was Jeff Bezos. He was a hedge fund guy. Kathy Woods, hedge fund guy. What makes hedge fund people so unique that they can succeed in other areas of business?
Well, it's the mindset first, right? Because you have to truly be locked in. One, also, everything is binary, right? Like every decision you make has a direct impact on your bottom line, has a direct impact on your business. You also have to be very data driven. Whether you're trading as a human or trading as an algo trader, you want to make informed decisions, because if you don't, and the person who you're trading against has the data or gets the data before you, they can, make the profits, right? Then the other thing is understanding, evaluating the company, evaluating the asset, evaluating different risk parameters, right? You can't just be out here rolling the dice. It's like when you go to Vegas or when you go to New Jersey to gamble, the humans may be gambling. The casino is not gambling. The casino is strictly based off of math and physics. And they are putting themselves in a position to where the house always wins, right? So when you start to really truly understand the data behind those decisions, you can then be able to see markets in different ways that other people may not be able to see. And not only markets, then companies and industries. So, you hear Jeff Bezos say he never wanted to, it was never the goal to launch a book company. It was understanding logistics and understanding that the world operates essentially off of logistics, and the fact that he wanted to use that to finance his dream of going to space, right? So he was able to identify what was the simplest product, business, and industry that he could disrupt while also applying his skill set, his knowledge base, and his ability to scale.
That's genius. Of course, we all know he's a genius, a very smart person. You don't get to that level without being extremely cerebral.
But we all are geniuses, right? We all have a certain level or area of genius that we operate in based off of our natural gifts and talents. But my thing is it's really belief, right? One of my favorite quotes is, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are right. Right? To this day, I still don't have a college degree because I left early to play baseball. Right? So I could I'm from the south side of Chicago. I'm from a single parent home. I'm from Inglewood. I had a lot of odds stacked up against me. And if I would allow those things to dictate me making choices, then I would still be on the south side of Chicago living a completely different lifestyle. But I believed I deserved better. I believed that I could do anything I put my mind to. I believed that I could be a hedge fund manager. I believed that I could be a successful trader. And then I put my thoughts, my words, and my actions to support what it is that I said I believed. And that, on a simple level, anybody could do.
One thing that I think is key also is that you are successful as an athlete. And I think there's something different about successful athletes when it comes into business and life in general, where they are positioned to thrive, because there's something about waking up early, going to practice when you want to go to practice, eating right, being disciplined, taking coaching and instruction that translate into business. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, those skills are 100% transferable for sure. The patience, the self-control, the discipline, the self-motivation, the things that you have to do. I mean, I started 6 a.m. workouts when I was in 6th grade, and I was the captain of the team. So I was literally not only getting up, I was there early, and I was leading, parts of the practice. I was 12 years old, and nobody forced me to do those things. I decided to, hey, if I really want to go to the league, these are the sacrifices and the things that I have to do to accomplish my dream and get my family up out the hood, right? Those are some of my goals. And so I decided to not go to all of the extra parties and do all the extracurricular activity things, because I said, if anything is going to take me away or further away from reaching my dream, I'm not going to do it. And so when a lot of athletes transition into business, into professionalism, and they apply those same skill sets, you can see the success that they have, because you need patience, self-control, discipline, self-motivation, all those things to have success in life in general, but for sure in business. And then for me, I played shortstop through college, second base, and pro ball. So I literally took hundreds of thousands of ground balls a day. And so a ground ball, essentially, when somebody hits the ball on the ground and it bounces up and down, and my brain, you have to see the ball bounce, you have to forecast where you think the ball is going to go, and you have to beat the ball to the spot to make the play. Well, if you think about business, what is it? You're doing market research, you're doing pattern recognition, and you're making a decision to beat the market where you believe it's going, so that you can have some success. So I was blessed to be able to have that opportunity. And once I connected those dots, it was onward and upward, because I already believe I could do anything I put my mind to, and I don't believe that fear exists. And so I just go after everything that I want, full throttle.
What is one thing about running a hedge fund that you didn't expect?
One thing about running a hedge fund that I didn't expect is the amount of legal and compliance that it takes. You have to cross every T and dot every I, and I'm grateful to have great attorneys. But sometimes when you run the business, especially when you're trading and you're making money, you just want to scale. But you have to make sure that, you follow the rules, which I think is important in general, but then that you also protect it, because, every day somebody trying to eat your lunch. So you got to get here and you got to get after it, but you also got to make sure that you are protected, make sure your investors are protected, and make sure that proper information and data is being shared and distributed.
Yeah. What's a common myth about being a hedge fund manager?
A common myth: not every hedge fund manager is successful. So everybody thinks that everybody is successful just because you become a hedge fund manager. You still got to cook. You still got to generate returns, and you still got to generate some risk-adjusted performance returns. And again, it's very binary. You're either making money or you're not. You're either beating the market indexes or you're not. You're either providing returns or you're not. And so with that being said, and then there are levels. Not every hedge fund manager wants to be $100 million, billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar hedge fund manager. So there are levels, and you got to know yourself. But yeah, not everybody's generating returns.
What's the biggest challenge that you're facing in your business, and how do you plan on tackling it?
I think I wouldn't say that I am dealing with them. I think that the industry as a whole is being democratized. And I think finance, I think tech, and I think fintech, and I think the trading worlds are being disrupted in general, right? We're in a technological revolution. We're literally seeing the birth and creation of new asset classes and new types of money with crypto and blockchain, right? So I think the industry of it whole is being disrupted, and everybody has to deal with it and pick their routes and stuff like that. I think that to some people, being a minority or being a Black man running a hedge fund might be an obstacle, but I don't see those things. I think, money is energy. And I think that, I've had a lot of relationship with a lot of wealthy people. And when you get to certain levels, yes, there is racism, there is classism. But when you get to certain levels of money, they don't care what you look like, where you're from, what God you serve, your sexual orientation. What they care about is, can you execute? Can you do what you say that you can do? And can you generate returns?
Yep.
Period. Right? And that's what I focus on. I focus my energy on the things that I want to do, the goals that I want to accomplish, and being a good human and creating relationships with other good humans. Other than that, I don't look at obstacles. I look at opportunities.
Being around so many wealthy people, and I think this is for the people who aspire to be at that level, what is one common thing that you see about those people that help them get to that point?
A thirst for knowledge. They're always learning. No question. That's the number one common denominator between every successful person I've ever met. Whether they are a reader, whether they are audio learner, whether they're an experiential learner, whether they're a video learner, They're always looking to learn and always looking for edges on ways that they can get better, on how they can optimize and how they can accomplish their goals and dreams.
That's dope. What's the most important lesson that you've learned over your career?
Never give up. Sounds very cliche, but like I said, the reason that I'm able to look at obstacles as opportunities is because I've been presented with a lot of obstacles and I've overcome them. And so I've just never given up, and I always, defy the odds.
What books are you reading?
Man, I could give you a list of, I love books. So when I got done playing baseball, I felt a little bit behind my colleagues because they left Hofstra and went straight to Wall Street. So I committed to reading a book a week. And I've read a book a week basically every week for the last 8 years. So if you give me certain topics, I can give you books, or I could just ramble off because I love reading. So, and I'm a physical book person. So like if I tilt the screen over there, you can see a bunch of books is literally right here in my purview.
How do you do a book? I mean, I went through one period of my life where I tried to do a book a week. I got really close. But how do you do that? How do you fit that into your life?
I just divide it by 7. So however many pages it is, I just divide it by 7 now, and I commit to reading that many pages per day. Yeah. And more importantly for me, I usually put it a part of my morning routine. So when I get up, I try to get up early and I make sure that it's a part of, just like brushing my teeth, knock out my pages and push through it that way. That's the easiest way for me because I know once my day get going, it's tough. And then I had a mentor really challenge me. He reads a book a day. Now you gotta have a certain level of dedication. You gotta have a certain level of bag as well, a certain level of money to be able to do that. And I did it for a week, and my brain was like, I try to pick that up often, but a book a week is a good pace for me. But also you got to really understand. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't read that fast because I don't remember anything. Well, the brain never forgets anything. So first and foremost, you got to get that myth out of your brain. You actually remember everything. It's not about remembering. It's about recall. Okay. It's not about retention. It's about recall. So you want to be able to recall that specific thing that you learned to handle that specific thing that you might be going through. But it's also proven statistically that faster readers actually learn and retain more than people who read slower, because when you're reading faster, you actually have to focus more. So it's like when you're driving a car. When you're driving a car slowly, you don't have to focus necessarily as much. But the faster you go, the more you need to focus and pay attention, because the slightest movement can make the biggest impact.
Yeah. I remember when I did the book a week thing a few years ago, I realized like things just became a part of my knowledge. I didn't know where it came from or what book, but it's just like I'm just executing at a different level at that point. Yeah. Like that's just my brain at that point is like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, you literally vibrating at a higher frequency because your brain is stimulated and your brain is acquiring knowledge and is learning and is growing. And literally you are bumping up your frequency.
Yeah.
Literally.
Divided by 7 is the gym, y'all. Whatever book, look at the total pages divided by 7. Yep. Man, what is a
I mean, you just keep it simple.
Right. If you can do more, do more. If you happen to do less, I guess, then, but yeah, because I mean, a lot of times we don't have that plan. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to read this book. You just kind of casually read it. And then it's like, okay, well, I read 10 pages, 20 pages now. And it's like, then that book can drag out. But if you say, like, this is the plan, this many pages a day, you know whether you hit that goal or not based off of that page.
It's a data-driven decision. And it's a metric that you can hold yourself accountable for. Did you read them or not? It's very binary.
Yeah.
Right. And you can
somebody like you who operates at this level, what kind of people do you hang out with?
Yeah, I'm very conscious about the people I allow around me. I like to say no squares in my circle. So I'm very big on energy management in general. So not just people management, but eye gate, ear gate, mind gate, mouth gate. I'm very cautious about the energy I allow in my spirit, energy I allow around me, because I know that energy is transferable, right? And I know that you pick up things from people and they're either amplifying you or they're draining you, right? It's not equal. It's never going to be equal because that's not how energy works. So you want to consistently surround yourself around people where you guys amplify each other, you encourage each other, you support each other, you invest in each other's dreams. Everybody might not have the same specific goals, but they need to be like-minded in the approach towards, their goals, and everybody not be in the same industries, right? So you can create masterminds where, you guys feed each other deal flow, or you guys feed each other opportunities. A good example would be, you got a guy who runs, or you got a group of guys who do real estate, and they're all friends. One's the realtor, one's the developer, one's the contractor, one's the cement guy, one's the plumber, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now you put this dream team together, and everybody's pouring into each other's business, and everybody eats. And that's the approach, that I look to make for my team. I'm very clear on my vision and my dream. And if you are, like-minded, and I believe you operate an area of genius that can help me, let's fill those gaps. Teamwork make the dream work. And then, I always want to build a relationship of reciprocity. So what is it that is your dream, and how can I help you make your dream a reality while you help me make my dream a reality? And at that point, everybody feels valued. Everybody, because we're also human and we're selfish, right? It's what am I getting out of this? What is in it for me? And so if we can find a way to be upfront, transparent, and honest and say, look, this is what I want out of the deal. This is what I'm willing to bring to the table. And this is how I feel like I could add that value. Then you could build from there, in honesty and transparency, and build relationships and rapport. And from there, if everybody's clear and everybody's executing, then we cooking. Yeah.
If you could start a business tomorrow, what would it be?
A hedge fund. Period. Like, and I gave a talk last night, actually, and I said this in the talk. I don't care what you want to do, you need capital. You want to do tech, you need capital. You want to do philanthropy, you need capital. You want to do medicine, you need capital. You want to do whatever it is, you need to finance it. So the game is finance. You want to do real estate, you need finance. Whatever it is that you want to do on this planet, you need capital. And so if I want to be the best and I want to play at the top level, I want to play in the game. And then from there, with certain levels of liquidity, I can take that and I can invest into other passions, real estate, sports, cars, whatever it is. But I want to be great at the greatest game. And from there, I can use that capital to do anything else that I want.
Yeah. Dope. I'm going to hit some wrap-up questions, and then we're going to head out. My first question is, what are 3 books that you would recommend to my audience, and why?
Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. So not a lot of people know Napoleon Hill for Think and Grow Rich, but he actually wrote Law of Success 5 years prior to writing Think and Grow Rich. So extremely, extremely powerful book, definitely life-changing for me. The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, just really talks about, having a dream and sticking to it no matter what other people think. The 4 Agreements, very powerful book, very simple. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It's 23 pages, but it's haymakers. Just about how powerful the mind is and how you can literally do anything you put your mind to. And that was 4. I guess I'll give you guys one more. It's called Thinking in Bets. It's by Annie Duke. She was getting her PhD in psychology, left, and became a professional poker player, and is now the most successful female poker player in history. And she writes a book teaching about how every decision you make, you need to make a data-driven decision, because everything is numbers, and how every decision you make today has a direct impact on your future. So if you literally start thinking in numbers and thinking in bets, every decision you make is a bet. And so it's a very powerful thing. And so I think, it helps people get a data-driven mindset to make decisions.
Dope. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, I'm gonna give you 2. One, I'm biased because the movie Hardball with Keanu Reeves, I was in that when I was a kid. So that's my favorite movie of all time because I was in it. I would like to say Wall Street, and Wall Street Money Never Sleeps. Those two are probably two of my favorite movies. And then on the sci-fi side, Interstellar. I'm a very, big on intergalactic travel, space travel, interdimensional travel, things of that nature. And Interstellar was an amazing movie. And it's probably, from a scientific standpoint, the closest movie that kind of depicts where we are in the world and our potential for these intergalactic moves that are happening.
What do you think sets apart successful people from unsuccessful people?
Mindset. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you were right. So successful people believe in themselves. They believe they can accomplish their goals, and they do everything else to make that happen. And other people make excuses.
What does wealth mean to you?
Freedom. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for however long you want, because you want to.
I like it. And my last question is, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they support what you have going on?
Yeah, so my name is Dion Pouncil. All my social medias, I'm just Dion Pouncil. So you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all your favorite social media platforms. For Pouncil Capital, we are allowing accredited investors and QEPs. So you can just visit pouncilcapital.com to learn more about that. And then for Money School, no matter whether you don't know anything about money or you're just a trader trying to hone in on your skills, you can go to moneyschool.com. So MONEYSKOOL.com. And Money School is also available on all your favorite iPhones, Androids, tablets, TVs, Xbox, PlayStation, any platform you can think about. You can look up Money School, download the app, and learn at your leisure.
Dope. Great conversation. I learned a ton. I know you guys learned a bunch. I saw people in the chat saying that all the questions I was asking were giving them the answers that they would have wanted to the questions they would have asked. So dope conversation. Definitely an inspirational conversation. Much success to you. And make sure you guys click the link in the show notes to everything he has going on. Make sure you guys, if you want to participate in his hedge fund and you are qualified to do so, hit him up. If you guys want to become a part of the Money School, make sure you put the link in the bio or in the show notes for that too, because I mean, it just sounds like a really cool idea, the Netflix of entertainment finance. So really cool things going on. Make sure you guys also check out the Tide Capital courses and content. We got a lot of stuff coming for you. Follow us on social media at Tide.capital. Follow my personal page at Tide Billion, and check us out on the website www.tidecapital.co. And with that, we out of here.